Today, we're jumping right into a concept that is a total game changer for how we view job seeking, social support, and just human resilience in general. We're going to unpack how we can use empowerment not just as, a nice, warm and fuzzy idea, but as an active, concrete mechanism to help people secure meaningful employment. We'll be looking specifically at the Signpost Resource Center's model to see exactly how this whole shebang works in practice.
Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to really stop and imagine for just a second trying to navigate today's hyper-connected job market while facing total digital deprivation. I mean, no internet, no laptop, no smartphone data. It's kind of tough to even picture, right? How on earth do you search for listings? How do you send off a tailored CV? Or even reply to an email from a potential boss? In a world where literally every application, training module, and interview scheduler is online, digital deprivation isn't just a minor headache. It's a massive, invisible brick wall standing squarely between a totally capable person and their livelihood.
Section 1. The invisible employment barriers, categorizing the obstacles to work. Let's look at what's actually blocking the path. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these obstacles stack up. We always hear that getting a job is just a simple matter of having the right skills, right? Just print out a resume, hit the pavement, and apply yourself. But the reality? Securing a sustainable employment is like navigating a totally overwhelming maze. Look at how these formidable barriers break down into two distinct but deeply interconnected categories. On the left, we've got these deep personal hurdles. We're talking mental and physical health issues, dangerously low self-esteem, the heavy weight of discrimination and cultural barriers. These are immense emotional loads to carry. Then, over on the right, we hit the rigid, practical brick walls. No tailored CV, zero PC or internet access, absolutely no support with those tricky applications, and severe financial restrictions. When we look at both columns together, we can really see how these categories compound. A practical challenge, like being digitally deprived, directly fuels a personal challenge, like anxiety or low self-worth. They literally feed into each other, creating this vicious cycle that keeps people completely locked out of the workforce. Moving on to Section 2, Beyond Statutory Providers, a distinct person-centered approach. Standard, rigid statutory providers. Think of those traditional, large-scale government unemployment offices. They often operate on a strict one-size-fits-all mandate. They're structurally designed to process massive volumes of people as quickly and uniformly as possible. But when someone walks in facing those deeply layered, compounding challenges we just looked at, well, that rigid system often completely misses the mark. People just fall right through the cracks. And that brings us to the core philosophy of the Signpost Resource Centers. Their mission is to empower individuals to manage or overcome these exact obstacles to secure meaningful work. And they do it through a strictly non-judgmental approach. So the crucial point here is that empowerment isn't just some corporate buzzword to them, it's the actual engine. It's the deliberate mechanism driving the change to dismantle both those practical brick walls and the heavy personal barriers. Here's Section 3, the Empowerment Mechanism Model. Visualizing the interventions. So let's look at how Signpost actively deploys this empowerment out in the real world. Because it's one thing to talk about empowerment, right? It's a whole other ballgame to actually do it when someone walks through your doors facing extreme deprivation. You can see the expected, necessary practical interventions right at the top: employability assistance and training. They absolutely help you build that tailored CV and gain skills. But look closer at the other services: a warm space, social and digital deprivation support, a listening ear. Honestly, these might seem almost too simple to even call professional career services. But think about it. If you're battling severe financial restrictions and crushing low self-worth, simply walking into a physically warm, safe space where someone just listens to your story without an ounce of judgment is a profound, radical intervention. It immediately starts to lower the emotional temperature of those personal challenges while simultaneously giving you the internet access and digital support needed to fix the practical ones. Let's move to the next part and see how this builds, step by step, to create actual, measurable transformation. Step 1 is actively managing the practical obstacles. For example, finally getting someone access to a PC so they aren't digitally deprived and isolated anymore. By providing that crucial internet access in a safe, welcoming spot, you seamlessly slide into Step 2. The individual experiences genuine, non-judgmental support. They aren't being scolded or penalized for not having a CV ready to go. They're gently given the tools and guidance to create one. And this combination directly triggers Step 3, gaining empowerment and overcoming barriers. fixing that very practical issue of digital deprivation creates this sudden, amazing spark of confidence. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a chain reaction. That confidence builds the vital emotional resilience they need to tackle those deeper, internal, personal challenges.
All right, Section 4, Sustainable Outcomes, the results of the empowerment mechanism.
Now, this is where things get really inspiring. When you use empowerment not just as a passive goal, but as a structural, everyday tool, you don't just get someone a job for a week or a month. You fundamentally alter their trajectory. And this brilliantly illustrates the incredible twofold outcome of the Signpost method: better job retention and increased self-worth. When people are treated as whole individuals, when they're given the practical tools to finally conquer digital deprivation and the non-judgmental space to heal and rebuild their self-esteem, they don't just find a job, they absolutely thrive in it. The empowerment mechanism leads directly to more sustainable, fulfilling employment, simply because the person entering the workforce is fundamentally stronger, more supported, and way more confident than they were before they walked through those doors.
We've seen how incredibly powerful this structural approach can be, and it leaves us with a truly fascinating thought to ponder as we wrap up. If something as seemingly straightforward as offering a listening ear and basic internet access can so deeply transform a person's self-worth and lead to long-term job retention, well, what other massive systemic barriers in our society could be entirely dismantled by simply using empowerment as a practical, everyday tool?